the very last couple of people, and then we're going to get right into the webinar. So my name is Jared Harrison. I'm the Director of One Stop Services. I want to spend some time with you guys before the bills are released tomorrow to talk a little bit about some things that we feel might be beneficial and helpful to you as you view the bill, maybe for the first time. For some, maybe for returning students and returning parents and families, this is not your first time. We want to make sure that you are familiar with our system. I want to touch base on some things that I feel is important from the questions that we've received in the One Stop over the number of years, and to make sure we get out in front and give you the opportunity to view the bill confidently and comfortably when it is released tomorrow. So this is the first of 3 webinars that we will be providing. There is a couple of quick notes that I want to highlight. For one, there is a closed caption function. So if you want to select that option, you will be able to see a transcript of this presentation. And also, we are going to move the chat function to the Q&A function. So if you have specific questions, utilize the Q&A function. You will see a couple of names on your screen. Jen O'Brien, Amy Newsom, they are support staff that are here to help out and provide me with some feedback to those questions, and as well as supporting this webinar. If you do have questions, feel free to shoot them out. I will pause as I present to ask for an update on those questions. Make sure I verbalize that answer to you all. Many times I feel when there is a question that I receive, many of our participants have the same question. So I will answer those questions verbally to make sure that everybody hears those answers. Just give me a while to get to them. And if there is a question that I intend on covering a little bit later on in the webinar, I might not answer that question until I get to that area. So I know there was a lot there. The Q&A function, as Ms. Jen has provided you information on in the chat, and closed caption is important too if you are looking for a transcript of this webinar. I think it is safe to go ahead and get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share the actual webinar PowerPoint presentation to you. But over the course of this hour, I'm going to go in and out to kind of highlight some of the websites that I reference in the presentation and to give you a visualization of how to navigate those websites when I talk about specific things. There are some high-level items that I am not going to touch on. For example, FERPA, I feel we have nailed and hit on that a number of times over the last couple of months. But just make sure if you contact our office with questions regarding your student, that your student has granted us access to speak directly with you. And then that way there won't be any kind of hesitation or inability to provide you with those answers. So first things first, let me share my screen with you. Hopefully you are able to see it. And if you are not, please let me know. But I believe you should be able to see the screen now. So this webinar is over understanding and paying your tuition bill. The One Stop is located on the corner of Campus Avenue and Spring Street in the building called Nellie Craig Walker Hall. We could be emailed. Our website, miamioh.edu/One Stop, is an excellent resource that will have all of the information that I'm providing to you. This webinar will be located on YouTube as well as the Parents and Families webpage. So if you are looking to go back and look at it within the next couple of weeks, you will have the opportunity to do so on multiple platforms. Feel free to give our office a call anytime you have questions, 513-529-0001. Our phones are open from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday during the summer hours. During the academic year, roughly from September through May, our hours are 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and those are our phone hours. Our office actually opens at 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday during the summer, and they move to our academic hours of 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday during the academic year, like I said, between September and May. As you guys might already know, the One Stop specializes in questions that you have regarding the bills, payments, financial aid, and your registration and academic records. So we are going to focus for the purpose of this webinar on the billing and payments, since that is what is coming out most. I will touch on a little bit on the financial aid side, because that does play a role in the billing and payment. And a lot of the questions that we receive regarding the bill has to do with financial aid and its disbursement and what it will cover. And then we also specialize in registration and academic records. So anytime you have questions about your transcript, how to register for classes, transferring credit over to the university, stop by the One Stop and we will be able to answer those questions for you. We also house our Veterans Affairs office. So if you are a military affiliated student or a veteran who is attending the university, we are able to answer questions that you might have regarding the usage of your benefits. We are able to connect you with our veterans and military affiliated students across campus, as well as our faculty and staff who have a passion for assisting and providing support to our veterans and military affiliated students. And so we are able to connect you with those resources across the campus, as well as across Oxford. So please do reach out directly to the One Stop if you are a veteran or military affiliated student. We certainly support you, appreciate your service, and hope to provide any kind of support that you might need over the course of your time here at Miami University. And again, you'll see the One Stop website, miamioh.edu/One Stop. If you do want to take out some time to look through that, please do. There is a wealth of resources and knowledge in that website. They did a lot of work in there. It could be overwhelming, I admit, but there is a lot of information. And many of the questions that we receive, we have supplied to the website, and you are able to find it on that website. Bills will be available starting tomorrow. I think we're going to get them out late afternoon, early evening. Students will receive an email letting them know that their tuition statement is available to view, with a link that they can select to view that tuition statement. If the student has granted access to their bill to a parent or family member, that parent and family member will receive that email notification as well. So if you have not completed the FERPA, or if your student has not granted you access, you can go onto our website, miamioh.edu/FERPA, FERPA, and request access to your student records. That way your student will receive that email letting them know that you have requested access to their student records. And then that way, anytime we send out billing notifications, we send them out electronically. They do not come in a paper bill through the mail. You will receive that email notification as well. We bill per semester. So our first fall bill will come out, like I said, tomorrow. That bill will be due on August 4th. When we say it's due, that means it needs to be either paid in full, or a payment plan needs to be set up that will cover the bill and pay it off within the next 3 or 4 months, depending on which option you choose. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. Throughout the course of the semester, there might be additional charges that get applied to the student's account. It could be car fines, parking permits. If you are adding additional meal plan points or additional MULA, there might be an additional charge that pops up. When that happens, we will notify the student and the person they've granted access to their billing information with the email letting them know that there has been a change to their tuition statement, with that link that you can click on and view that change. You do not have to wait for us to email you to view the bill. You can always look into the bill through the parent portal, which I'll show you here later. And then you'll have the opportunity to see a real-time update of any payments or charges or adjustments that take place on the bill. So you do not have to wait for us to notify you. If you have been granted access through FERPA, you have created a password within that 72 hours of granting access through FERPA, you will be able to log into the family portal, which will give you real-time access to that student's tuition statement. I'm going to cut out of this presentation for a quick second to show you how to view the bill. When you receive that payment notification in an email, it will provide you a link that will take you directly to our Nailnet. But if you do want to view the bill prior to getting notified, miamioh.edu/payments is where you will want to go to see or to log in to see the bill. And so bear with me. Let me see if I can get you to the screen that I would want you to be at. So, all right. So if you go to miamioh.edu/payments, there we go. You will see the web page that I am just showing you in that PowerPoint. Scroll down, you can view bill due dates, which are key. So anytime there is a monthly bill that gets sent out to you and you have a question on when that monthly bill is due, you will see the due dates. You will see for the semester bills that come out, like I said, tomorrow, and it's due on August 4th. For winter and spring semester, you will see that that notice should go out roughly around November 30th. And it'll be due January 9th. And those are your semester bills. Any other bills that pop up due to additional charges that get applied to the account, you will be able to see when those notices will go out and when that is due. And we do that each month if there has been a change to the student's bill. From this payment site, you will be able to add funds to the meal plan or MULA. So if you are interested in adding additional funds to the meal plan or MULA, you could do so by selecting that option. Students can do it by selecting the student option. If you are an authorized family member, you can select that, log in, and add additional funds to the student's meal plan or MULA. You will need to know your student's banner ID or unique ID. And when you put it in, you must include that plus number. Students who are looking to view their bill, they can select the student, faculty, and staff and sign in with their user ID and password. Family members, you can sign in. When you've been granted access through FERPA, you should have received an email prompting you to set up a password. If you have not, give our office a call. We will be able to reset that password for you. And then you'll be able to go in and select this option, enter in the email address that the student provided when they granted you access, enter in your password, and then you'll be able to go in and view the bill through this option. Guest payer. So the guest payer is for a grandparent, a family member, someone who wants to make a payment towards the account that you might not want to grant full access to. I should say students, parents are unable to grant access, but if a student does not want to grant full access to their records or their billing information to an individual, that individual can select guest payer, sign in using the unique ID or password of the student, not sign in, I'm sorry, fill out the form using the unique ID and password of the student, put in the amount that they want paid towards the student, submit the payments. They will receive a receipt saying that that payment has been made. They will not be able to see the student's tuition statement to see the payment on there or to see the charges on the student tuition statement. So if there is a guest payer, maybe someone who wants to put money for from a scholarship company or wants to just go in and pay online towards a student that you aren't comfortable with granting full access to their billing information, have them utilize the guest payer link. And that is the way in which they can make that payment without having any of the student's information. We do, as you can see, accept all major credit cards internationally and domestically. So that is an option. And if you're an international student, there is the international student payment option through the use of Flywire. This website is great because it also gives you the opportunity to set up a payment plan. If you have a 529 plan, it provides a great screen to let you know how to let us know that you have a 529 plan. Only students are able to do this, but if you are planning on utilizing a 529 plan, let us know if you feel like those funds will not be here by the due date. How that student can go about doing that is selecting this link. They'll need to sign in with their user ID and password and let us know that they are receiving a 529 plan, the amount and who it's through. And that way we can note that account. And if those funds aren't here by that due date, we can avoid the student receiving any kind of late fee or penalty for not having that paid in full. All right, so I said a mouthful. I'm going to pause just to check questions to see if there is anything that I am missing related to the information I provided thus far, and then I will follow up with you guys with some answers. So let me take a look. All right, you guys. So some questions involved the difference between a banner ID and a unique ID. I flip between both, and I will try not to for the purposes of this webinar. They both do the same thing. The banner ID is the +01 number that you all have access to. That was something that was created a while ago to replace the need for people to ask for people's social security numbers. And so we created the banner ID number that they utilize to provide us that information that we can access their account. Well, over the years, they got sensitive about the banner ID number. And so the unique ID is the first 5 digits of the email address. So Harris JW is my unique ID. If you know your student's email address, it's that first 5 letters prior to the @miamioh.edu. And so either way, we can get to a student's account if you provide us the banner ID, which is that +01 number, or if you provide the unique ID, which is the first part of that email address. For guest payers, you do not have to have a sign-in credential. You'll just click on the link. It will open up the form. You'll provide the student's name. You'll provide the student's banner ID number. You'll provide the amount that you want paid. You'll let us know how you are going to make that payment via a credit card online, which I did mention. And there is a convenience fee, 2.3 to 2.9%, typically depending on how much you charge if you use a payment via credit card, or a check is a free service if you have the routing number and account number. It will ask for that information, and then it will ask you to submit, and then it'll provide you with a receipt. So guest payer options do not need to sign in. They just need to fill out the form and provide the payment. But like I said, they will not have access to the student's tuition bill. They will not be able to see the charges. They won't even be able to see that their payment was applied to the charges. They'll just get that receipt letting them know that that payment was received and applied. When you receive the bill in Nelnet, when you receive the email that the bill is available to view and you select the link and then you sign in using your credentials, it will bring you to the home page of Nelnet. And this is what you will see. It will start off with the account balance. That is the amount that is due for the term, the amount that you want to clear. What this amount consists of is the total amount of the tuition charges. We'll talk a little bit about the tuition and fees here shortly. Minus the pending credits. Your pending credits will be any scholarships that you have with the university, as long as you've met the criteria for it, which is 12 credit hours, 3.0 GPA for most scholarships. It'll have any of your financial aid through the FAFSA, so grants and loans, as long as you've met the criteria for it. You've completed the master promissory note, the entrance counseling, you've accepted the aid online. These are things that the student has to do. And then that will be the difference between these two line items. If you want to know what all this entails, transaction details on the right-hand side will be a link that you can click on that will show a breakdown of the charges. And I'll show you that here in the next screen. And then you can make a payment, a one-time payment from this site, or you can set up your payment plan. The payment plans that you set up, you will be able to enter the amount in that you want to set it up for. And this is because some parents are waiting for a $2,000 scholarship from a high school church that hasn't come in yet. So really this amount right here isn't $9,373.14. It is $7,373.14. We just can't see that because it's an outside scholarship, but the parent and family member knows. And so when you set up a payment plan or you make a one-time payment, you can override this amount and put in the amount that you want to pay. Obviously, it'll show a remaining balance of $2,000. Don't fret. Obviously, the reason why is because you have that outside payment coming in that's going to clear it. You know that if it's not here by the 4th, call us and let us know so we'll know that. We can mark the account and make sure that there's no late fee being applied due to the balance still remaining. Key points, though, from this home page of Nelnet, transaction details will break this down for you. Your charges is the complete amount due for the term. Your pending credits will include your scholarship and your FAFSA and federal aid. And your account balance due is the difference between these two amounts. Make a payment from this site with a credit card, check, or set up a payment plan from this site, which will be one of our payment plan options. And this is how it'll look when you select transaction details. This is a key page because when you select transaction details, it will show you specifically what the charges are for. Quick note about health insurance. I am sure I'm going to touch on it a little bit later on, but if I don't, I will remember to, because it is important that you waive it by August 1st. This is just the first semester charge. If you don't waive it, there is an additional charge for spring and winter term, which is a little bit more. But if it is on your bill and you have waived it, it typically takes about 3 to 5 business days for that waiver to be processed and reviewed. If you just waived it today, it will likely be on your bill tomorrow, but don't panic and give us a call. Give it until maybe the end of next week, and then you should receive a credit on your bill for $902. If it is not on your bill when you receive it tomorrow, that means you went on and waived it, your waiver went through, and you don't have to worry about it at all. You will need to waive health insurance every year, and that opens up on July 1st, and that deadline is typically always on August 1st. And I'm going to touch on the rest of these fees here shortly when it comes to tuition and fees, so that you can get an idea of what possibly that will look like when you receive your bill. But when you click on transaction details, you will see the list of fees. If you see it in a summary, this is how it'll look. If you see it in a detail, then it will show the actual dates in which those charges went on or payments were received. So check detail if you're looking for a little bit more detail, but this is an idea of how that summary does look. Key point, final point for this slide is if you want to print out a statement, you can use the print function. It comes on a Miami University, I'm gonna call it a letterhead, but it is a formal statement that will print by using this function. If you need to provide this to a 529 plan, if they require it, if you are looking to provide it for insurance purposes to show the student is registered, or scholarships to receive your scholarships, print this out. This will be a way that you can have a printout of a statement on a Miami University letterhead. So when we talk a little bit about fees, when you receive your tuition invoice, you will see instructional fees, general fees, career center fee. You will see your housing and meal plan fee. All students who are registered for full-time will receive these fees. You will see fees for special course fees. Business course surcharge is a significant one. But if there is a lab course that the student is registered for, you will be able to, you will be charged maybe an additional fee for that as well. That was not a part of your tuition promise, and it was not a part of the award letter estimate that you received. And then, like I said, health insurance, if not waived. So let's take a look at this, and I can try to give you a quick breakdown of what these charges are for. So your instructional fee that you will see is the charges for the actual tuition here on campus, the in-class coursework. All students are charged that for full-time or per credit hour. If you are an out-of-state student, you will see the non-resident surcharge fee. And that'll be a significant charge on your account, but that is because you are a non-Ohio resident. Only non-Ohio residents will see that on their tuition statement. You will see the general fee. All students are charged a general fee, and that general fee is comprised of the basic general fee, which will be entrance to sporting events. So if you are interested, if the student's interested in going to basketball games, baseball games, hockey games, if there is a guest speaker here on campus that they would like to attend and see, they just need to show up, provide their student ID. They don't have to pay anything out of pocket. It is quote unquote free to them, but it's free to them because it's already been paid for by a parent or guardian or whoever has cleared their fees. And so I always say, I know going to the rec center isn't everybody's thing. There is rock climbing and specialized classes there. I know football games, basketball games, hockey games, sporting events isn't everybody's thing. It is a part of the university experience, and your families, or even in some cases, the student themselves, if they're paying for their tuition, is paying for this ability for you to attend. And so go check it out, even if you're going to socialize or be amongst the Miami student family. Be a part of these opportunities across campus, because they seem like they're free, and if you just go, you go. If you don't, you don't. But it is something that that you guys are being charged for. So nudge your student to get out and get about campus and be a part of the different opportunities that we have. Same with transit fee. Any busing service that we have that goes across campus, the student is able to provide their student ID to get on with no upfront charge to them. Student technology fee across campus in different buildings, the usage of Wi-Fi. Armstrong Student Center fee is another one for the construction costs and support of the Armstrong Student Center fee. You'll see a mental health fee. You won't see it. The mental health fee is in the general fee that that provides support to our students with their emotional well-being and mental health. That includes programming for education, the services across the Oxford campus. And so it covers a full spectrum of student resources, from prevention to treatment to support and response. And so that is important and key for us, and that will be wrapped up into that general fee. You'll just see the general fee charge, but these are things that are kind of wrapped up in that general fee, if you are wondering what that generic term general fee means. miamioh.edu/fees, FEES, will be is where you will go to see a breakdown of these charges. And I did mention the business course surcharge fee. Those are course surcharges for students who are taking business courses in the Farmer School of Business. And so so that might be something you want to keep in mind if you are a student or a family member who is in the business program. I'm going to pause. I know I said a mouthful, so I want to check our Q&A to see what I could touch on that I might have missed. So bear with me. All right, you guys. So we got a couple questions For one, you can pay with the e-check. That is a free service as long as you know the routing number and account number. When you select the make a payment option, it will ask you if you want to pay with a credit card or a check. Select the check option, enter in your routing number and your account number, and there is no additional charges for that service. When you do pay with your credit card, I did mention that there is a convenience fee. Before you submit that payment, you will be able to see how much that fee totals. And if you opt not to make that payment through that credit card, you can certainly do so. 529s typically take roughly 2 weeks to get the payment to us. So when you receive your bill tomorrow, I would say probably sometime next week, go ahead and start making those calls to the 529 provider. Give them the amount that you want paid to the university. Provide them with the student's banner ID or unique ID. Provide them with our payment address, which is on one of these slides, but when I see it again, I will make sure I highlight it for you. Provide them with our phone number and the payment due date, and then they will get that payment directly over to us. And then obviously if it has that payment banner ID or unique ID on there, it will get applied directly to the student's account. When you make a payment plan, you can split the payment plan amongst 2 individuals for 1 student. If you remember, I talked about how you can go in and change the amount. You don't have to necessarily set the payment plan up for $10,000. If you know that $2,000 is coming from an outside resource and it's not reflective on your bill, you can set it up for $8,000. You just need to override the amount and put in the amount that you want to use. When it comes to multiple payments from different areas towards 1 student, for example, 1 parent might have that $10,000 balance. 1 parent might set up a payment plan for $5,000. And then the other parent who, if the student has granted them access, the student will have to grant access to both individuals, can go in and set up a payment plan for $5,000. Each will be responsible for either 4 or 3 installments of that $5,000. And every time they pay that installment towards that $10,000 balance, it will go towards the student's tuition statement. So there is a possibility for 2 different individuals to set up a payment plan towards 1 student. Just remember, I keep saying $10,000. I'm just making up an amount to make it simple. But just to remember, each parent needs to do $5,000 and not $10,000. You don't want to double it up. You just want to make sure that whatever the split is, that parent is putting in that amount when they go in and set up a payment plan, and then parent number 2 is putting in that amount when they go in and set up a payment plan. I think I answered that, but let me just check to make sure I didn't confuse you guys anymore. I don't want to confuse you. All right, so I want to touch on how payment plans don't automatically update. It was a question that came in. And I think it's a great question. I wish I would have remembered to keep that in my list of things to have a PowerPoint presentation on. Payment plans are specifically for the parent. So let's go back to our $10,000 example. Let's just try to stick with the same thing. When you go in and set up your payment plan for $8,000, even though the balance is $10,000, we're not going to deny it. We're not going to say, hey, you know, this isn't approved. It's not for the full amount. We're going to let you do and manage the payment plan how it is best for your financial circumstances. So keep that in mind, because when you set up your payment plan for $8,000, if your bill changes, it's not going to automatically update your payment plan to reflect that change. Your balance was $10,000. You set up a payment plan for $10,000. You get an email that your student has added additional meal plan or MULA points, and now your bill is $10,400. Your payment plan is going to remain $10,000. What you would need to do is go back in and change the amounts and adjust it by $400. And then that way, that adjustment in the payment plan will reflect the new amount due at the university. Vice versa, if you or somebody else makes a payment towards student's bill, and now the original bill was $10,000 and it's down to $8,000, your payment plan is going to remain $10,000. We're not going to let Nelnet know that your balance has changed and there needs to be an adjustment to the payment plan. It is up to the parent or family member or whoever has set up that payment plan to keep it up to date and make those adjustments as needed. It would be a lot easier, I admit, if we just did automatically update them. But the truth is, these payment plans are the service to the parent and family member or guardian, not to the university. So you are utilizing the payment plan how it best fits your financial situation. We are hands off. We will email you, however, and let you know that the payment plan that you have set up for is not, if there's been a change to your tuition bill that might not be reflected in your payment plan. So we will try to give parents and families a nudge or a heads up to let them know that that there has been a change and they might want to change and update their payment plan, but we will not do it automatically. We do not communicate your business with Nelnet, and we do not make any kind of changes to some payment plan structures that you have set up. That is completely up to the parent and family. Student health insurance, I just touched on, but I will touch on again. August 1st is the deadline. You do want to make sure you waive that health insurance. Let me just show you how you can go about and waive it. To give you that, I had all my tabs up, but I think it's a little bit easier for me just to type it in now that I have just gone through the process. So miamioh.edu/health will bring you to the Student Health Services webpage. What you'll want to do is select the waive and enroll health insurance option. You're going to select this option a couple times. It's going to tell you a little bit about the process and that it opened up starting July 1st, 2023. Give you the deadline. You'll select that link. You're going to select enroll and waive. I know it's confusing because they use the enroll terminology, but you're just going to keep selecting the waive. You're going to scroll down. It's going to make sure your domestic international students. You're going to select enroll waive one more time, I think. And then it's just going to ask you questions. If you're a domestic student, what campus you're registered for, your banner ID. It says your unique ID, so not your banner ID. So that is the part of the email address prior to the @miamioh.edu and your birth date. And you're going to log in, and it is going to ask you some policy questions, some questions about the address in which the policy is through, and a phone number to the customer service, because they do check to make sure these policies are legit. I apologize, I can't go much further because I'm not a registered student, but once you get here and you log in, this is something that a parent or family member can do as long as you have the student's information, or the student could do themselves as long as they have their policy information. But many of our parents do this, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's not anything that they feel that they should not be doing. This is actually something that parents are able to do as long as they have the student's banner ID or student's unique ID when completing this form. And so that is how they will go about waiving the health insurance if you are interested in waiving health insurance. But you can keep the health insurance, and it does cover you from August 1st, 2023 through July 31st, 2024. So that is something that if you are interested in keeping, you can keep it on there. It'll be a charge first semester $902, and I think it'll be a charge second semester roughly $1,200, and that is how it is broken down. Talked a lot about the payment options already. We kind of got ahead of myself. It looks like Slack Q&A if you have any questions that I have not touched on, so I don't feel like I've rushed through this and not provided an excellent source of information to you. Looking over this, outside scholarships, you just want to make sure you provide them with our address that you see below, and that way that payment will get to us. Make sure that banner ID or unique ID is with the student. I mentioned a 529 plan, and I said that there will be somewhere we will see the address that you want to provide them. Here it is. If you want to provide them this address, if they ask where to send the payment to, they will be able to send that payment to this address, and it will arrive in our payment center. and get applied to the student's account. We do take checks and money orders in person. We are a cashless office, and so we do not accept cash. But if you do have a check, scholarship check, money order, come into our office between the hours of 7:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. or when school starts 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we do have a drop box for you to drop off a check or money order. If it's a scholarship check made out to the student will need to endorse that check over to the university. On the back, they can write paid to the order of Miami University and sign their name. If the scholarship check is made out directly to Miami University, we will not need to have them endorse it. They could just bring it directly to us, put their banner ID or unique ID on there and submit that payment that way. If you do drop off a payment in person prior to 2 o'clock, it should show up on the account that day. If you drop it off after 2 o'clock, then it will show up on the student's account the following day. And then 529s, I showed you that spot. You just want to make sure you let us know if you do not believe that 529 plan is going to make it by the August 4th due date. Only students are able to do that because that form is something that they need to sign in to complete. But once you let us know that, we will make sure that there is no late fees that are applied to your account if that payment isn't paid in full by that due date. Just make sure you have the student let us know, notify us what's going on, and we will make sure we are not holding you responsible because your 529 provider has not gotten that payment to us in due time. But do start the process relatively early. It does, like I say, take 2 to 3 weeks. So typically 2 weeks. So the quicker you get it started, you kind of have an idea of when it will be to us. So I have a screen on payment plans, but I'm going to pop out of this and show you the actual website. While I do that, I'm going to see if there is any Q&A questions related to any of the information I had just mentioned. All right, I'm a little nervous, you guys watching me type, but I'm spelling everything right and I'm hitting these URLs perfectly. So I want to get the wrong website notice or website not found. So miamioh.edu/payment plans is where you'll want to go. And that is what that's website that the PowerPoint that I had just provided you was showing you a picture of. In this site, you will see the options for payment plans. So the 4-pay plan opened up on June 5th, July 13th. You might think it's odd, rightfully so, understandably, that this option will pop up before our bills are released. But here's the deal. For incoming students who have never seen their bill, it is definitely tough. For our returning family members and students who have seen their bill, you've done this before, you have an idea of what you've got to pay each month, you can get started on it early. You do not have to wait to receive your bill. The tuition promise locks in your tuition for 4 years. And so maybe you're off maybe $100 if there is a business course surcharge that your student registered for that was new, or a lab that your student registered for that they hadn't been registered for in prior years. You might be off $100, but you can get started on this payment early, and it can come out on the 15th of July, the first payment. You can always go in and make the adjustment if you are short $100 or so. That is something that you can do. For our incoming students, it's a little bit tough to do it before the bills are released because you have no idea what your bill is going to look like until you've seen it. And so you probably are feeling like you're all over the place and you just don't have enough information to jump on this early payment plan. However, you still can get in by July 27th if you want that first payment to come out on the 30th of each month. And that is a 4-pay plan. The enrollment fee is $40. There is no interest. If you pay it off early, there's no penalty. And then we have the 3-pay plan and the 2-pay plan. Bear with me for a quick second. Let me see if I can. All right. And if I scroll down, you can see how to sign in for the 3-pay plan, which is the 20th of each month. So the 4-pay plan, if you choose to come out the 15th of the month or the 30th of the month, that is just for July. The following months, August, September, October, will come out the 20th of each month. There is a $45 enrollment fee, and there also is a required down payment to get into the 3-pay plan. And that's the same with the 2-pay plan. And so this isn't unfortunately anything that you can spread out over 5 years. You know, we do bill each semester. So typically everything has to be cleared by time registration opens for the following semester, which typically takes place around October. And so that's why the 4-pay, 3-pay, 2-pay is the really only options that we have available to help you break these payments into installments. And then the same thing for spring. So when you receive your winter spring bill in early November, late November, early December, you have to go back in and set up a payment plan for each at that time. Worst case scenario, you're paying the enrollment fee twice. But again, there's no interest, no penalty if you pay it off early or if you cancel the payment plan. And this information is on miamioh.edu/payment plans. It just gives you all the options. Then it'll also let you know how to go about setting up that payment plan. Refunds is a key piece. So if you are registered for classes from 12, all right, let me back up. You will be charged per credit hour up to 12 credit hours. 12 credit hours is full time, and you're able to register up to 18 credit hours without any additional charges. So from 12 to 18, a student who is registered for 18 credit hours is paying the same amount that a student is registered for 12 credit hours, as long as there's no lab fees or anything like that. But theoretically, they're paying the same amount. You are entitled to a refund for a dropped course if you drop below 12 credit hours. Check out our refunds, miamioh.edu/refunds, because that will let you know when you are eligible for that refund, which is the first 5 days of the term if you're looking for a 100% refund. From withdrawing from the university, you have a little bit more time, but not much. If you are leaving the university completely, so you're not dropping below full time, you're withdrawing all of your classes. You want to make sure you do that within the timeframes presented at the miamioh.edu/refunds. First 5 business days. This does not include weekends for 100% refund. And then as you can see, it goes down the longer into the semester you wait to withdraw. So I hate to bring this up. Nobody wants to hear anybody withdrawing from university or for whatever reasons. It just doesn't seem like it's good. You know, it could be issues that they're having with adapting to the university, roommates, classes. You know, it's just hard to see us lose students because you don't come and make it here and get accepted into the university and have the excitement of going to college and then have to withdraw for whatever reasons. But it is important to make sure that you all know this for a couple of things. One is we do have tuition insurance through GradGuard that you will be asked about when you view the bill. When you view the bill for the first time as a parent or guardian, you will have to create an account. You only have to do it once. The student will have to view the bill first. I should have mentioned that earlier. The student will have to view the bill first before you can view it. So make sure your student has gotten an email and viewed the bill. That unlocks the bill and then allows you to go in and view it. But it will ask if you're interested in tuition insurance. That tuition insurance might be something you look into that will help if your student withdraws later on in the semester and you are hoping to get full tuition refunded back to you, you can decline that when you're viewing the bill and then go back in and change your mind later and purchase it. So you'll want to make sure that you don't get caught up with that question before you view the bill and feel like you have to make a decision on that. Decline it so you can continue forward to view the bill. And then if you do change your mind, feel free to do so and go back in and purchase our insurance through GradGuard. But I bring that up because that is one way to counter our refund policy. And that information is on our website and it's called GradGuard. I'm going to leave this up for as long as possible just to kind of give you an idea of the websites that we just mentioned. If you grab your phone on, you can take a quick picture of it. miamioh.edu/health is where you went or you will go to waive your health insurance. miamioh.edu/payment plans is where I showed you to view the payment plan options. miamioh.edu/payments is where you went to log in as a student, parent, or guest to make a payment towards the bill or to add funds to MULA or the meal plan. miamioh.edu/FERPA is where you will go if you're a student to grant access to an individual, or if you're a parent or guardian who are requesting access, send that email to the student to kind of nudge them to grant you access. miamioh.edu/loans and studentaid.gov. Let me pull out, let me see, how are we with time? I do want to show you a couple of things that I didn't get around to. If you still are looking for additional assistance as to making payments, we have the Parent Plus loan. We don't. The federal government offers the Parent Plus loan at studentaid.gov. But we also have this private loan. So miamioh.edu/loans is where you'll go. Private loan selection, fast choice. You have to click through a couple buttons here. It will bring you to a list of private loan options that we have received over the years. It will show you their rates, whether it's fixed or variable. If there's a grace period in which the time that you have to pay it back, if it is for grad students or undergraduate students, if you're interested in more information, oh, this might be a good one. Let me see what this is about. You can select the link. You can get a little bit more information on the actual loan. And then you can also apply for the private loan from this website as well. So if a payment plan isn't a great option for you, you can't split it up into payments. You can't make a one-time payment. You don't have a 529 plan. Check out miamioh.edu/loans. Our fast choice option will allow for you to look at some of the private loan options that we have received. And we can provide great information that you can compare, decide which one fits your financial circumstances best, and then apply from this website. The other thing that I seen in my list was miamioh.edu, studentloans.gov. This is where everybody goes to complete the FAFSA. The FAFSA typically opens on October 1st. You'll want to complete it every year if you're looking for federal aid. If you are a parent, you will need to sign in using your FSA ID that you created when you signed off on the student's FAFSA. And if you do so, then you can take a look at applying for a Parent Plus loan from this website as well. Under loans and grants, it'll be the Parent Plus loan will be an option for borrowers to apply for. If you're a Graduate Plus loan, but a Parent Plus loan for this link too. The other thing is important is a lot of times students are wondering why their financial aid is not reflective on their bill. It's because they need to they've accepted the aid on Miami's portal, but they need to go in and complete the master promissory note and the entrance counseling. They'll need to sign in using their FSA ID, and then they'll need to go in and complete the master promissory note and entrance counseling. And that is the two pieces. It's a three-piece part: accepting the aid, completing the entrance counseling, and master promissory note. Once you've done those three things, then your aid should be reflective on your bill, and it should be set to disperse. But these two is what we find has most been challenging for students. They've accepted it. They think that's all they need to do, but they do need to complete the entrance counseling and a master promissory note, and that is done at studentaid.gov. With that said, I think I have time to just check questions one more time, and then hopefully I can send you on your way with a little bit more knowledge of what to expect tomorrow when those tuition bills are released, or at least what kind of questions we'll be more than happy to answer for you. So bear with me. Let me just check my questions, and I'll be back with an official close. All right, you guys, just a couple quick clarification questions that came up. How do you accept aid in Miami? Let me see if I can show you this. Not sure how far I can get, but let me, students can accept aid. So parents can accept aid on behalf of their students. If they go to miamioh.edu/ or I'm sorry, miamioh.edu/mymiami, they can find their financial aid portal. Maybe they have started, so it could be pop up quickly. They don't have to go through the search like I just did, but you could search it always. They'll click on their finalizing aid, and it will give you a breakdown of how to go about accepting your aid. So what they're going to do is going through their financial aid self-serve, and I'll show you again here shortly. I obviously don't have any financial aid offers, so but they can go to their award offer, see other resources, and they will see their financial aid award, and then they can accept or decline their loans. You do not have to accept or decline your grants or scholarships. That is money that you do not have to pay back, so we automatically assume the student wants it. But for their loans, they will need to accept or decline, and they will do that through their financial aid portal. Make sure they go to the right drop down and select fall 2023. And then it'll say the award offer, and then they'll be able to accept or decline their aid. Let me see if I can just go back quickly to show you how I got there. So financial aid, finalizing your aid will give you a rundown of what all you need to do to finalize your aid. But to accept it or decline it, you just want to go to the financial aid banner self-service option. And students can give it a little favorite so that they don't have to search it. It'll just automatically pop up. And this is through their miamioh.edu/my-miami is how I got here. They'll need to sign in order to get into this. The link to the webinar was shared. So the recording will be at the parents webinar resources and index page on the Parents and Family Office. Might take a couple of days, but it will be up for you guys to view if you ever have any more questions. But give our office a call. This is what we do. Get to us early. Don't wait till the week of school starting or the week before school starting. You know, everybody has, I'll just stop in and chat with them when I'm on campus moving the students in, and they get here and they're alarmed at how many people we have in our lobby. Well, everybody had a great idea. Call us this week, next week, leading up to those weeks. Let us help you work through these issues before it gets to crunch time and everybody's high anxiety and panicked. We have this time through the rest of this summer to kind of work out some of these little things with you, and we are more than happy to do so. Give us a call. If you are on campus early, stop by our office, set up a virtual appointment with us. We have many ways in which we can communicate with you all. Thank you for your time. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you today, and I hope you have a great rest of your week.